7th is a special day, not just for Detroit City supporters, but for Detroit City fans. On the supporter side, 7 years ago, the birth of there wouldn't be a 451 named 451 podcast or channel 451 without Detroit City Ann Arbor being postponed at 4 minutes and 51 seconds. 2 years later, Sean-Claude Lawson gets a hat trick in his land of the woods, Mr. Niffin himself, to clinch a Great Lakes Division title against AFC Ann Arbor. 5 years on that, July 7th, 2024, add another significant moment to the history of Detroit City Football Club, this time on the women's side. They trail behind for the first time all season to Indy 11 early on. But it's not how you start sometimes, it's how you finish. Emily Paget, a second game in a row, great strike from outside the box to equalize things. Sophie Romine, she scored inside the box, I think, but still a baiter. Just before half, 2-1 to Detroit City. An Indy 11 side that showed why they are the two-time W League champions. Difficult, aggressive in the defense, able to get the ball, able to move the ball well. But Detroit City responded what you referred to, Nick, as a master stroke of a substitution move in the second half. Putting 4 people on. Danny Steffen, Hannah Crum, Joelle Washington, Kayla Addison. And City eventually caused some more pressure, causes an opportunity, and a close-in rebound for Kayla Addison to put it away, seal the deal. Final score, 3-1 Detroit City. Detroit City are not just unbeaten. They're not just the Great Lakes Division champs. They are the Central Conference champions. Undefeated still. Dave Dwaihy gets that water bath, and we get the revel in the celebrations. So, Nick, my brother man, how are you after that?
Great. It was kind of scary started out slow. Gave up that early goal, but I think much like the River Lights, or not the River Lights match, but a couple times previously in the season, starting out slow, getting the feel for the game, and then dominating the rest of the way through.
Right.
It's really a testament to how good this club is, in that they can come back even down after a slow start and kick it in the next year, get it going. You mentioned the 4 substitutions. That was just, like you said, a master stroke. Putting 4 players in and saying, fresh legs, they're just as good as your starters, and now they're fresh. I think gave us that third goal, locked it down, and you just couldn't compete.
Justin, how are you feeling on there? It was a little bit of an interesting one weather-wise, but I think 15, 20 minutes in, I think you were noticing Indy starting to tire.
Yep. Yeah, it was, first of all, we're standing on this turf right now, and everything from my knees down is burning right now. So shout out to all 22 on the field who made it through today.
Fucking hell.
Brutal. But you know what? I mean, all of a sudden, Indy came out, punched us in the mouth. Really physical, even before the goal.
Fast.
Just settled in. And then all of a sudden, I started to see some hands on knees and really the heat getting to some of the players because we were just constantly attacking. And so the game kind of shifted from this physical, kind of a slobber knocker, if you will, into more of a finesse game. And that's really when we started to open up. And then we locked it down after that second goal. So hot day, but later on in the match, a ball was kicked over and Gabby I gave it to Gabby, and the look in her eyes was just stone cold. So, and that's what the whole team looked like. They were not here just for fun. They were here to win this Central Conference championship.
She had a couple lockdown saves early on. When Indy had the pressure, there was one that barely made it off her, right fingertips. I just put it wide, and that would have put us down 2-0 very early on. She was so locked down in that. It was unbelievable.
Well, we've had the trifecta here this weekend. I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted. I've had a lot of Keyworth this week.
We've had a lot of Keyworth. We've had a lot of content from the last 6 days, let alone. And guess what? We ain't done yet. Here's why. Because after the match and after the celebrations, it was announced Detroit City is hosting their USLW League National Semifinal. And it's part of another women's men's doubleheader next Saturday, July 13th. Opponent not yet named. Keep on the lookout for that, whether it's from the club and us. I think 3 or 4 o'clock-ish. And then that leads into the men taking on Memphis 901. I know a 901 side that got smashed yesterday. So, good opportunity. But I know the men's side. Hey, you know what, guys? Challenge yourselves. Look what the women did today. Look at how they defended themselves. Look how they showed. So, because I argue right now, the main event's going to be the first match of the doubleheader on Saturday.
I agree.
There were so many people, last night flying all over the place in the men's game and staying down.
Yeah.
There were some absolute
How about that Lily Jekyll collision with the goalkeeper?
I thought she got knocked out. It was a hard hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of was not moving.
She was slow to get up, and it was just there's some hard hits here, throwing them into boards.
Yeah.
Come to that first match. Prioritize that first match. It's national semifinals.
Yeah.
Get your ass out here.
4 p.m., 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Stay tuned for details on that Saturday. Should have some more fun stuff coming on here. But yeah, Detroit City still unbeaten, Central Conference champions. Final four, national semifinals. Nick Finn to the right of me, Justin Remington to the left of me, Adam Hernandez behind the camera. Giddy and rocking back and forth more so than I am here. Stay tuned, folks. We're
Jump
just
in a
getting
pool.
started.
Up the
We go
fucking
onward.
city.
We go onward. Our post-match coverage on this championship Sunday.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah. Continues with Coach Dave Dwaihy, who's probably a bit cooler than I am, because as he was walking through this in the supporter line, supporters decided to drench him with a full bit of water and they on there. So, but we're here. We were talking just beforehand. 2 years ago on Tuesday was the last time Troy City women faced Indy 11, a doubleheader at Carroll, and it was a 3-0 to Indy. The end of one run to go forward 2 years almost to the day and see a city team, see your side fall behind for the first time, but respond in a manner that champions do. How are you feeling after that?
Really gratified for the women. I mean, I thought their response was brilliant. We hadn't gone down, and it's inevitable. You're not going to make it through a season without facing that. But I thought, what really impressed me was they didn't see, some teams kind of rally, and it was just like they just went about their business, kept playing, worked our way into the game. A beautiful goal from Paget to get us level, and then the goal from Sophia was just like next level in terms of the build up and the quality.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for Addie to get the third, and she earned it. She came into the game and really made a huge impact. Her and Joyelle, they have a fantastic partnership together, and so it was really exciting to be able to put them in and give us a boost at that point in the game where we were maybe on the brink of struggling a bit. So the game itself, super rewarding and enjoyable, and then I think the symbolic element in terms of how far we've come. Eliza Barron actually pulled me aside as the game was ending, and she's like, I just want to say I was part of that game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we got beat 3-0 at home and 3-0 at third place, and it's really satisfying to see that we've grown since that time and gotten to a point where we're whether we had won or lost today. I think the way we were able to compete with them, they were previously maybe in a class above, and now we've maybe joined that class in some ways.
I think Indy showed why I think how good they were, just as how aggressive they were, getting into defense, seeing the play out, the movement and the play, and you're almost having to maybe get into physical battles. But I think a key change in the match happened midway through the second half when you guys brought on four. You brought on
Hannah Crum, Danny Steffen,
Hannah Crum, Danny Steffen, Joyelle Washington, Kayla Addison, as if to say, hey, you haven't seen these people yet.
Yeah.
Tell us in that moment how much you think that really shifted and helped you seal the deal today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was a little bit atypical for us to sub that many at a time. Kind of debated, change too much, it can break your rhythm.
Yeah.
We felt like the 4 players that we brought them in for had done a ton of running today and Friday, and so there was that element of fresh legs, maybe jumping off. And also we knew that in each of those 4 players we had a level of dynamism and experience. I don't think Hannah Crum put a foot wrong. She drew several fouls. She got us going.
There was a play that I was seeing on here that I have it on there that Hannah had a movement. I think it was conversation going on with whoever on the right side behind her, but then a little sewer move, and it almost worked perfectly for Sophie, but just the vision at that time to see that play, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, and I think you could point to Danny Steffen as well. She just has so much composure and experience. She really settled us during a phase of the game that could have gone horribly wonky in terms of we're under the gun, we're stressing, we're not playing, or we're not attacking and bringing the game to them.
Yeah.
Those 4 players really allowed us to do that, and I think on a hot day like today, putting 4 fresh sets of legs out there probably helped as well. But it was an inspired substitution from the staff. They all, they put a lot of thought into it, and I was all on board, and then obviously got to give a lot of credit to those 4 players for coming in.
Yeah.
And also our other 2 substitutions, I thought Allie Tiefman came in and gave us freshness on the left, and she's so good going forward.
Yeah.
And then Allie Childers really locked it down at the end in terms of defensive positions that she took and being clean with the ball. So everybody, I told the women after the game, everybody came on the field and contributed.
So this is a momentous occasion. We kind of had this feeling like we've had the same conversation now 3-4 times in the last week or two, but we know it's continuing because immediately announced after that you're hosting one of the semifinals, playing either Colorado Storm or FK Olympia. Mindset going into that. If Olympia get through, we know there's a former city player there, Noah Karalek. Just like what you're thinking, or is it just like the same approach as this one and as the other 13 before that?
Yeah, I think same approach. We've got Archer Blanco scouting these teams in between games, and he's done an amazing job putting reports together and collecting observations and tendencies. We've got a week to kind of prepare ourselves in training and in some cases recover a little bit from this weekend.
Right.
And hopefully most of our players will stick around and be available. I think that's a big question that starts to come in as you almost get punished for your success. You get this far along in the season, college players start getting called in, and so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm Lily Jekyll and Aubrey Ciampa are both going to be at their club nationals, so they'll unfortunately be out. But I do think we might be able to bring some players in that keep the level really high and give us some confidence. But yeah, to answer the question, I think we just treat it like any other game. You know, we respect our opponent, recognize that if they're this far along in the tournament, they're going to be very, very good and very capable and talented. And hopefully we can put our best foot forward and find something in the game.
Last, there's something significant about the semifinal next Saturday, and I'll talk about that in kind of our closing. But lastly, if anything that you want to leave to either anyone that stayed smart, kept cool, or made the trip out here, whether on this side or the supporter side, stream it, gentlemen, just anything you want to leave for all those.
Yeah, thanks to all the supporters. That was an awesome environment today. It was hot and it was sunny, and the sun obviously messes with you on the turf a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of our women, they dug deep, and a big part of that is so massive thanks to our supporters and those who tuned in on the stream, and we feel the love big time. And the other thing I'll say while I have the opportunity is just how grateful I am to be a part of the staff that I'm a part of. You know, game like today, I willingly admit there are phases of that game where I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And not that I'm doing anything on the field, but just in terms of making tactical adjustments and substitutions. And I'm so grateful to have such, intelligent, thoughtful, insightful coaches around me who cooperate really well and arrive at decisions together. That's a really special part of this team that I don't think everybody gets to see because they're not with me and the staff. And I think for anyone that kind of wonders why things have gone so well, I think we've got a fantastic group of women with amazing character. But I think we also have a staff that knows that group really well. And I kind of almost have to separate myself from that because it's these other coaches that are really stepping up each and every game and helping us get over the line. So major props to them.
So 7 years ago today, 7 years ago next Saturday, played Lansing United here. Down 3-0. Scored a goal. Omar Sinclair got sent off. 3-3. 7 years to the day, you're in a women's men's doubleheader, and you're coaching the side that's playing for a national semifinal. Take that all. How are you feeling taking that in?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I like that connection, and we got 3. We put 3 up on them. Fortunately, we didn't concede 2 other ones, so it was a win instead of a tie. But that's a neat little bit of history. I mean, I told the women before the game too, or maybe it was at halftime. I said like, there's sort of a destiny about this group, and I'm not saying anything about how far we're going to go, just like their ability to rise to the occasion, and they seem to have that X factor that great teams have. And so however long the journey ends up being, I'm so happy to be along for the ride and neat to be parts of these little moments where DCFC history continues to grow and makes kind of throwbacks to the past.
Undefeated team, Great Lakes champs. Some more to retain. Coach David Dwaihy, as always.
Appreciate
Thank you
it
very much. Congratulations to you and the team.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.